On April 4th, 2024, we welcomed our sixth child to the family, and I'm going to share a little bit of that story with you and how things have been going on our High Desert Homestead since she's joined our family.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done.
You would think with this being our sixth child that I would know what I was doing and have it totally nailed down with delivery. But honestly, it's different every time. And I was especially nervous with this delivery, but we were extremely blessed and everything seemed to go smoothly. It was kind of a snowy morning, and we went into the hospital, and I was in labor for a good part of the day before she joined our family that evening. So with a lot of our other children, they've had a struggle with being able to breathe after they've been born. But this little sweet girl who we've named Linden, she came crying and healthy and was breathing wonderfully. So we felt again extremely blessed to have her. She is healthy, thriving, and well. We are so grateful to have her as part of our family.
So it's about 8 in the morning after our baby Lyndon was born. I got a text from our neighbor this morning saying that the top blew off one of our rabbit hutches and that he saw one of the rabbits wandering around on the ground, and he offered to go try to help and do something, but I am now headed over there. There was a lot of wind last night, and me and Danielle were both kind of worried about it, but obviously just had a baby. I didn't want to leave Danielle. I'm gonna go see what I can do. All right, I'm pulling up to our house. Luckily, we only live about 15 minutes away from the hospital. Let's see what the damage is. And most importantly, if that bunny is safe. So crisis averted, hopefully. I think we've got all the babies. There were 3 baby rabbits out and about. The cage had completely tipped over. We thought that burying it a foot into the ground would be enough. Apparently it wasn't enough for this wind that we have. It was tipped over. Luckily, the babies were just huddled against the side of the house. My awesome neighbor was helpful in getting the babies back and then also moving the hutch into the garage for now. What we think happened here is the other hutch that looks like this one, probably the wind blew up the top, and then that acted as a sail and allowed the wind to just take it down and push it and tip it over. So I've now, on this other hutch that didn't blow over but that was identical to the other one, I've put a latch on the roof so that hopefully the wind doesn't blow that up. All right, now with that in place, I've got to feed the rabbits, water them, and get back to the hospital.
I've been taking things super slow since getting back from the hospital. Haven't really got the camera out much and haven't done a whole lot of projects, but there are a few things that do need to get done right away, and my sweet husband Nate has been the one to tackle those. It's been good. He is on paternity leave now, and so he has a little bit of time between taking care of kids and me to also tend to the gardens. So this week I was really hoping we could get our peas planted. It's the perfect time for that. It's a beautiful day. So before he got started on the peas, he actually broad forked 90% of our garden rows with all the cover crop in them, and then kind of loosened up the cover crop so it could start to die off so that we could plant other things in the future in those rows. So he spent quite a bit of time doing that. It was a beautiful day. It wasn't windy. We were all just hanging out together as a family. And so it was perfect. It gave us something to do and the kids something to do kind of while we were just hanging out at home all together. And so I enjoyed my view of my husband doing the garden work while snuggling our sweet little one. So once we broad fork each row, which is just basically sticking that tool with the large tines in it into the soil and loosening them up a little bit, we usually add a layer of compost before planting. And so that's what he's doing now. We just have this tiny little bit of compost left from last year. And this year we are actually getting some manure from local farmer friends, and we'll be letting that sit for the entire year that we'll be using for next year. So I really hope to not have to buy compost ever again between the animals we have here on our property and also just getting some from friends. We live in a pretty decent farming community. There's actually a ton of sheep farmers all around us. Sheep farming was kind of one of the big things that got our little town going, other than mining as well. And so there are still loads and loads of sheep farmers ready to scoop up a large pile of manure for anyone who wants it onto their trailer. So we took our little trailer over there and got a big scoop of that for it from them. So hoping to build up some good sized compost piles for the future, just so that we can get them starting to decompose for the rest of the year. Like I've said time and time again in previous videos, the way we garden at our house is definitely not perfect, not straight rows, and although that I think that looks beautiful, it's
I'll
not
just
what
put a
we're
pea in.
striving for. So this whole row
No,
was pretty much done by
I can't put a
kids
pea in.
planting
I'm
and
not gonna do it.
and the
If
holes
I don't do
being
like
dug
that,
for it, and they did a
then
great job. I think I bought
me too.
7 or 8
I'm
packets
not
of
gonna bear
peas.
inside.
I really wanted to fill this entire row with sugar snap peas. I have such fond memories as a kid going out into my grandma's garden and snacking on peas every in the early summer mornings when it was still cool outside, and I want to bring that memory back for myself and also for my kids. They love snacking on these. In the past, I've never had enough peas for us. We just can't get enough. So I decided to dedicate an entire garden row to peas, which they don't take the entire summer. They're kind of an early summer, late spring crop. They like it to be cool. So once these are done, we can, kind of mow them down and let them mulch the row and plant something else in there. Someday I hope to be the gardener who has every garden bed planned out, when to plant, when to harvest, when to succession plant, what's going in next in the bed. So each row will be super efficient, but that is not the season of life that I'm in right now. I imagine that being something I can enjoy probably in like 10 years. So, but for now, I will plant the peas. Well, my family will get these peas in the ground, and then when they're done growing, I will just decide then what's going in, and maybe I'll feel up to getting more prepared with that, but we'll see. I do not have that mental space, and I don't think you have to have it, and some people don't enjoy being that organized. So, do what you got to do. So, update on our pasture. We have this pasture that we've planted and it is starting to sprout. So, I feel up to just getting out and starting that water and getting it going. It's nice to have little chores like this that I can do while still maintaining most of my resting and healing from having a baby, but it still gets me outside. Did you put that one on there? Good job. So that's what our few weeks after having the baby have looked like here on the homestead. watering, getting
There it goes.
outside, chilling, hanging out as a family.